Okay, let's start our study tonight. Let's start with a prayer. Usually Lindalva does the prayer for us. Please, Lindalva.
Yes. Let's feel the ambience in which we are guarded, each one on our individual spaces, feeling the spiritual energy that surrounds us, envelops us, as we are guarded in our Master Jesus' name, trying to lift our thoughts, connecting with His love, with the peace that He envelops all of us, with gratitude for the opportunity that we are being granted once again to be meeting, to study and to learn about ourselves as children of God, immortal spirits who are passing through a period in our evolutionary path with the aim to better ourselves, learning how to strengthen ourselves morally so that we can overcome our difficulties and learn how to keep ourselves aligned with the laws that govern our planet. And so we ask to all of our friends who are with us, especially those who are helping us, to understand the lesson of today, asking our Master Jesus blessings for us who are here physically and also those in spirit. As we know, we are never alone. We know we are a family of incarnated people and discarnated spirits who are also in connection with us. We thank you once again, Lord, for the opportunity, and we place ourselves in your hands to begin this meeting. Thank you.
Liliane, do you have the book? Liliane, do you have the book? The Genesis?
No.
No? Okay. Let me try to share. Nine. All right. Okay.
Let's start.
Let's start.
Okay, I will start reading, and today we are going to start from item 9. So we have been talking about religions, isn't it, and the role of the prophets, messengers, missionaries. So yeah. Are there direct revelations from God to humans? That is a question we would not dare answer either affirmatively or negatively in an absolute manner. There is nothing radically impossible about it, but there is nothing to prove it with certainty. What cannot be doubted, however, is that the spirits closest to God in perfection grasp God's thought and can transmit it. As for incarnate revelators, according to the hierarchical order to which they belong and the degree of their own personal erudition, they can draw their teaching from their own knowledge, or they can receive it from more highly evolved spirits, and even from messengers straight from God. The latter, speaking in God's name, might at times have been taken for God per se. These kinds of communications contain nothing strange to whoever is familiar with spirit phenomena and the way in which relations occur between incarnates and discarnates. Teachings may be transmitted in several different ways: through pure and simple inspiration, through the auditory word, or through the seeing of instructor spirits in visions and apparitions, whether in dreams or in the waking state, many examples of which may be seen in the Bible, the Gospels, and the sacred books of all cultures. Thus, it is strictly precise to say that most all revelators are inspired hearing or seeing mediums, from which, however, it does not follow that all mediums are revelators, much less direct intermediaries from the divinity or its messengers.
It's really interesting how they say there is a question say, are there direct revelations from God to the humans? So, and then Kardec starts to talk about the different levels of spirit qualification. So the high level spirits can get the information, the inspiration from God, and then transmit down to the other spirits in the levels, the levels below. So it's really interesting because I can imagine Jesus, which can understand God's inspiration and execute any order or any desire that comes from God and make it materialize that. And another thing interesting in that is because God never does the things without the Spirit. So the Spirit is always used to make the God's wishes. So it's a kind of symphony, and it's a harmony between everything. So there is God, which is not executing anything by miracle. That needs the spirit, elevate spirits to understand his desire, let's say that, and then pass through the other levels, other levels of spirits. So we as I can see, we are in the end of the line. We are in the bottom of the line. Jesus in the top, and then Jesus catch the information from God and pass through all the servers below him, and below those servers more servers, until get into us. So we are the most materialized level. So we are not, we are deaf. Deaf should be all the spirits. Most of us, we don't listen to the spirits more frequently. Just sometimes, just some mediums are able to listen to the spirits directly, of course, because we live by intuition all the time. The spirits are talking to us by intuition, by thoughts, by uh, in a way that we think is not. I don't know how to explain that, but we have always have interactions with the spirit, the incarnated spirits in different ways, but not directly, like voice or vision or something like that. But the most interesting thing is that this information is coming from the higher level to the bottom of the line, and we are in this bottom trying to get those information as much as we can, which is a little bit difficult because given our we are not capable to talk directly to the spirits. We are not. I don't know if dematerialized is the right word to describe that, but as much as we evolve, as much as we progress, more closer to those higher levels of spirits, and more closer to the God's thoughts, and we are going to be more able to understand clearly what God wants and what God thinks about the universe, about everything. So this is fascinating because as much as we evolve, more information we got, more knowledge we're gonna get, and more evolved we're gonna be. So it's a kind of exponential curve that's gonna be like that, and then suddenly take off and get to the highest level of spirits easily. So that's what I thought when I saw this item.
I have a question. Considering that there are a lot of religions, different religions, and in the end of the day, most of the religion, they talk about life after death, they talk about a God. So there is just one God, there is just one universal intelligent. So if the instructions for God come to, for example, to us, Christian, to Jesus, can I say that, for example, to Hinduism, Shiva received this information, or for the Buddhist, Buddha received this information? Are they in the same level than Jesus Christ? Can I say that they are also elevated spirits that receive instruction, maybe according with their culture or whatever? I don't know, because all religions, or most of them, they walk to the same line, with the same with different views, different stories, or happen in different way, but there is just one God.
Yeah, yes, for the question. Kardec tell us that there are many messengers around the world, not just Jesus. So there are many other religions, and the message is gonna arrive for everybody equally. Otherwise, God wouldn't be just and good. So if I receive the message, somebody from the other side of the world or other side of the universe is going to receive the same message. And The second question is if all those entities are the same level of Jesus. I don't know. I cannot answer. But the only thing I can say, if the message is a good message, that's the question. If, for example, if as you say, Buddha is is the leader of Buddhism and brings a good message, it doesn't matter if it's Jesus or Buddha that brings the message. The message is good, and that's all. Nothing. We don't need to question or you know, make any assumption that this message is coming from this person or that person or this spirit or that spirit. The only thing that matters for us is the message itself. Because if we go to the medium's book, we're gonna see a lot of warnings from Kardec that says, be careful with the spirits that says, I'm Jesus, I'm Buddha, I'm that or that, Einstein or someone else, because anybody can do that. There are false prophets even in the spiritual world, and as we are like a little bit blind and deaf to the spiritual world, if we're going to if we start to believe in names, we're going to be cheat very easily. So to avoid this kind of mistake, we need to stick with the message and not with the messenger. For example, if I disincarnate tomorrow and I come to you and say, I am André, so it doesn't matter what I say. You're gonna recognize me by the way I speak, by the way I present, I introduce myself, I present myself, and so yeah, that's it. And the message is the most important thing. So trying to answer your questions. Yeah, God is only one. The message comes from the higher level to the lower level. All the religions have the own messengers, and the message comes to everyone at the same way, but they are interpreted in different manner according to the culture. According, we cannot say we from the Western world we are the same as the Eastern world. They have their own culture, they have their own origin, they came from the other place, from the universe, as we can see in the Exilados de Capela book, that say the people from the eastern side, they came from one place in Capela's constellation, and the people from the western side came from another place. So we are mixture together, but everyone is keeping the same culture and receiving the message and understanding different way. So it's a bit complicated, but you're right. Everybody's going to receive the same message. Everybody's going to be protected by God. Everybody's going to be their own mentors and protectors and benefactors. So yeah, it doesn't matter where they are, because if we separate different religions in the planet Earth, can you imagine in the universe how many different cultures and let's say kind of spirits there are spread around the universe with different ways to live, different ambient environment, but for them they're going to receive the same message, different languages or different ways, telepathically or from the thoughts, from I don't know, but it's going to be the same for everybody. Yeah, that's the message that came from the spirits, and Kardec told us in the spirits book.
So considering just our planet, considering just forget about Buddha and other cultures, well, Jesus was the most senior spirit that received message from the God and transmitted to us. Nowadays, who we can consider spirits that are incarnated, that are seniors enough to receive messages that we can believe. I consider that Kardec at some point was an instrument from God and the Spirit to spread the message or give us hope and comfort. But now in the modern days, which incarnate spirit
It could be
can we
anyone.
believe?
As we told you, the message is more important. Could be Lindalva, could be Richard. Send you a good message today, and as you feel, for example, if you feel depressed today and you call Lindalva say, speak just one word and change your entire day, entire week. So it could be anyone, could be you. And I have problem, I call you, hey Liliane, I'm really down today. I'm really sad. I need the help. And you give me a good message, and everything changed for me. So that's right. Liliane told me the right thing in the right way. So everything's gonna change for me right now. So I'm just giving a small example that we cannot stick with any person because the person can fail, and but the message sent, this one is absolute right, and if it's good message, it's okay. If you know what I mean. You can go outside and you can walk around in the street, and suddenly we meet someone, and this person suddenly says something to you. It could be a message for you, and this person is not a superstar or a good
But
medium.
I'm not an elevated spirit, so I don't think that I'm capable to receive really some message for God, because the important message go to the high level and then going down and down. So how can I be capable to receive a really important message?
I think that the greatest messenger has already been amongst us. And this is what we are doing today. We are studying the messages that they have brought so that we can learn how to make sense of things, to make sense of our lives, and to understand better now than we have been able to understand before. Because I think that Jesus was the spirit who was closest to God. He could understand. He was a very he was a perfect translator, intermediary between God and us. And so to me, I think it's very important that we don't forget that Jesus' teachings, they have been left with us a long time ago, but they are as new every day. They were for the people of those time, and they are for us today, because we are evolving. And the more we evolve, the better we are able to make use of his teachings, the better we are able to understand. And so I think Jesus is someone that we can rely without being doubtful if the message we are receiving is right or not. Because even messages that we can read and we can sort of think about, these doesn't make there are messages in the gospel that we can read, and we can see that there are some messages that are very different from other messages from Jesus. And so I think this is what has been happening. Jesus came, and then Moses came, and then Jesus came, and then now Spiritism comes and brings a much thorough information, because it is explaining to us about spirituality in very clear. Most of us can understand that we are all spirits, we are all evolving. And I think that when we read what we are reading here today, and we read this question, which is, are there different direct revelations from God to humans? And the spirit, the answer that the spirit give is an answer that you can understand, and you can sort of say, this person could just have made something up. They could have given a message. They could have said yes. They could have said no. But they gave this message. They gave this answer to say, that is a question we would not dare answer, either affirmatively or negatively, in an absolute manner. There is nothing radically impossible about it, but there is nothing to prove it with certainty. So I think this answer here, it sort of proves to us that Spiritism is not trying to give us any answer that is not based on the truth, that cannot be proved. We are receiving answers that have a base, that can be proven to be right. And so I think, to me, we have, as you have said, Andre, I think there are a lot of people today that are doing a great job, and they are using what they know, they have learned, because I think that is the message. The goodness are the people who are bringing us messages today. They're not writing it, they are doing, they are practicing it, and they are not, because we have many books that have been received from spirits and everything, that are sort of breaking down information so that we can understand better. But I think, to me, the greatest messages today are based on facts of people using what they know about Jesus, about Christianity, and they are working, because that is how we can, like Jesus did. Jesus didn't write anything; he worked. And so I think that is it's unfailable. We cannot fail to receive messages from people who are not writing them to us, but they are working, they are doing it, they are proving to us that this is the best way this is how we improve, this is how we evolve, is by working, by practicing what we already know.
Yeah, Dalva, this is another thing, is that the Spiritism doesn't, we don't have priests or vicars or any kind of leadership in the Spiritism just because of that. It doesn't matter who is in front of the it's leading the Spiritism, or the Spirit's house or Spirit center. The only thing that matters is who is doing the good thing, who is doing the charity, who is changing themselves, who is doing is following the right path to the progress, moral progress, and the intellectual progress. So that's why we don't have any kind of leader, spiritual leader or spiritual. I don't know how to say that, but we don't have priests or any kind of bishops, something like that. Yeah.
I think the other thing as well that we need to pay attention to is the fact that everyone interprets God in a different way. God is the same for everyone, but because of our level of evolution or where we find ourselves, everyone interprets God in a different way. And I think this is, I think we were talking the last week, Andre, about how important it is for us still to have all the religions that we have still in the world, because everyone has a place to be, as everyone has a place that is in harmony with how they live their lives and how they understand things. But for some of us, like, we have passed through those phases, and then we are moving on. We are sort of finding different ways, and there is something for everyone. And also, we have heard, not in not a very long time ago, how and still do today, how people use the name of God to do things that are totally against God's laws, the laws of God, the laws of love, because everything about our creation, there is love everywhere. And a lot of us still use God's name to commit crimes, to sort of a lot of mediums. They do very difficult things that harm others, because they say they are listening a message from God. God is speaking to them and is telling them to do this and to do that. So I think this is what, when we talk about mediums, there is also that not every medium is able to understand that we can hear voices, we can talk to spirits, but the message we receive, it's only coming from God. I mean, from God, not direct from God, but from like God's source of goodness. If that message is good, if it is anything to do, if it is anything negative, anything that is leading us, any message that is leading us to do any harm, to cause any harm to anyone, or to ourselves as well, that is not coming from the right source, the source of goodness. So it's not coming from the source that Jesus has brought to us, and what he has asked us to do, which was to love one another. And so I think, as they are talking about mediums here as well, every medium is also in a different stage, and everyone will interpret the messages they receive in a different way, according to how capable they are of understanding it.
Yeah, I think maybe next time I'm going to explain a little bit more about this kind of message. Can you read without item 10?
Yes, let's go on then. So we're studying the Genesis. Okay. Only pure spirits receive the word of God with the mission of transmitting it. But nowadays, we know that all spirits are far from being perfect, and that there are those who present themselves under false appearances. This is what led St. John to state, do not believe in every spirit, but first see if the spirits are from God. And so there is a little remark here. The Spirit's Book, International Spiritist Council, 2nd edition, 2008, numbers 96, addressing the subject of the spirit hierarchy. Hence, it is just as possible for there to be authentic and true revelations as it is for there to be apocryphal and deceitful ones. The fundamental character of divine revelation is that of eternal truthfulness. Every revelation tainted with error or subject to change cannot have emanated from God. Thus it is that the law of the Decalogue displays all the characteristics of its origin, whereas the other Mosaic laws, essentially transitory and frequently contradicting the law of Sinai, are the personal and political work of the Hebrew lawgiver, as the customs of the people tamed down. These laws fell into disuse by themselves, whereas the Decalogue continued to remain standing as a beacon for humankind. Christ himself made it the foundation of his building, whereas he abolished the other laws. If they had been the work of God, he would not have touched them. Christ and Moses are the two great revelations who changed the face of the world, and therein lies the proof of their divine mission. A purely human work would not have had such power.
When we were talking about the item, the item 9, in my mind, I was reminding that the message that comes from God is nothing a big message like a book or something like that. It's just small phrases that means a lot. For example, now the Kardec is talking about the Decalogue. So they are 10, just 10 commandments that remain in the with the humanity for thousands of years. So it's not a huge book with a lot of informations and words and something like that. Just 10 lines with 10 commandments that make the entire world change the way they behave, the way they interact with another people. And yeah, it's just a small piece of stone with something bright that changes everything. And after that, it's very interesting because they say the Hebrew lawgiver, they they open all the information. They create more laws based on Decalogue. They create a lot of books, and but in the end of the day, only the Decalogue stays forever. And Jesus came after and said, only two of the, he said, if it's fell, came it down. These laws fell into disuse by themselves, whereas the Decalogue continued to remain standing as a beacon for humankind. Christ himself made it the foundation of his building, whereas he's abolished the other laws. So just came and pick up the Decalogue and say this is going to be the guide for the humankind, and we're going to work over this information. So that's why I was thinking sometimes we are waiting for long information, books and everything, so shows and lights and stuff like that. But the message just one line is sufficient to make us thinking over and over again for thousand and thousand years.
Yeah. This is just unbelievable, isn't it? That when Jesus came and he said he didn't want to, he didn't come to destroy the law, isn't it? He he picked up all of those 10 commandments and he showed us, because on the commandments it's telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do, but Jesus came and puts all of them into practice. And so those laws, those in all of those lines, as you have said, Andre, they have our law, all of our laws are based on those lines. And also today we can see that when I look back, I try to look back to the time of Jesus, and like Jesus came to change how we understood things, our visions and everything. We see today that this new especially the spirits who are arriving in the world now, they are not just like accepting everything as they are. They are trying to make changes. They are trying to change things, and so the only thing we have to sort of keep on is that we can't lose track of the basic laws. That whatever change we are trying to make, that we cannot forget morality and ethics, because if we are just thinking intellectually, we know we are not in the right path, because we are going to get lost. So we need to keep everything together. But we know that there are a lot of laws that need changing, that needs to be according to the generation we have today. And so I think Jesus he brought a lot of revolution. He revolutionized the world of that time by what by the way he lived his life. And I think Spiritism is more and more revolutionizing the world, because it is bringing to us the certainty that we are immortal spirits, and we need to use our life here to build a better life, but not a material life. but especially a better spiritual future.
I have a question. So, we can receive messages that are not from God or correct, or something that we need to take in consideration. The books that we are studying, I suppose that they were wrote by inspiration from good spirits that are trying to help us to understand the divine laws. And how about the Bible? Can I say that the Bible was, because according with the history, the Bible was wrote by, they say, Saint Spirit, or so it was by inspiration. The prophets that wrote the Bible, they received the information according with them by the spirits. Can I say that the Bible has the same value than the books as a book to read and study, as important or more than the books that we are studying now? Because I read the Bible completely, and I have my private opinion, my particular opinion about the Bible, but considering what we are studying or the information that we are receiving, can we put all these books in the same level? Can we say that all the messages have the same importance? I'm saying about the Bible because we are Christian, because there is the Alquran. That is the first part of Alquran that I read too, are the same than in the Bible. Say the Old Testament are really similar. So all these messages from Bible or the Spirit book are in the same level.
Just trying to figure out this question. Bible becomes Bible in 320 with the Constantine Emperor. So he decided to
Yes.
Yeah.
And he changed things.
Yeah, he changed. San Jerome
Yes.
stated in the end of all the translation, said, I added, I removed it, and I changed many things in this book. But Constantine decided to use the Bible as the constitution of the new emperor. But all the information that comes in the Bible, some of them are original, some of them are changed. So what I'm trying to say, that the information inside the Bible, some of them are not true, some of them are really true, some of them are inspiration, and some of them are a real message for us. In the end of the day, what changed the Bible is who is reading. So if we are reading the Bible looking for something that's completing my my vices, I'm gonna find over there. In the Bible, you're gonna find the most terrible crimes and sacrifice and all the bad things, you know, betrayals, problems between husband and wife, problem with the emperors that have a lot of human wives and stuff like that. But if you go to the Bible and try to find out something that makes us better, you're gonna find that. So, as we said, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, all of those books were compiled by human, by person that can neglect some information, that can transform some information to their own needs. For example, I'm going to give you one example. In the Bible, the original one, there was a word named Paligenesi, which means reincarnation. But the Constantine wife didn't like the reincarnation because she had a bad past. Well, she said, "I don't like that. I don't want to come back and try to pay everything that I did before. So could you please change this word?" So Constantine says to Saint Jerome, "Please change this word, remove reincarnation from the Bible, and change everything." So, but right now, what I'm trying to say, all those truths that were removed from the Bible now came out together with the Spiritism. So it's useless to try to hide the truth, because the truth is going to appear sooner or later. So if the Spiritism right now is trying to hide something, this truth is going to appear at certain point of the humanity. So we don't need to be concerned about if the Bible is true or if the books, the Spirit's books, true. We need to focus on the message again, that is those books that come it's bringing to us. So I share your concern, Lily, about the how accurate is the Bible, because we can see there are a lot of rubbish in that book, but there are a lot of good things also. There are a lot of good message and good advertisement for us.
Yes, I agree, because there is a lot of passages from the Bible that is used in the Spiritist books. So I cannot say that Bible is completely rubbish.
No.
There is
Yeah.
a lot, of course, that it passed for many changes,
Yeah.
as the books that Kardec wrote. There is a lot of change because it was translated in many languages. So if you think about French to Portuguese, Portuguese to England, there is some words that don't have the same meaning or are not as strong as in one language than the other. So, and if you think about to translate from Arabic or Latin to other languages, of course that will be different interpretations or different translation. I read Spirit books that some phrases in English are not exactly as I read in Portuguese. So I cannot say they are 100% correct. And I cannot say that the Bible is 100% correct. But the Bible, we already agreed that is not correct. We know,
Yeah.
because we have historical evidence that there is a lot of books that was removed because was not good political and social, or there is a lot of reason that it was changed.
Yeah,
But
that's right. Yeah.
we don't know exactly if everything that was wrote by Kardec was exactly how
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah, even Kardec says if I'm saying, or if the our books are saying something that's going in different way from the science, from the reason, please leave the spiritism and follow the reason and follow the science. So yeah, uh, as you said, the gospel and the introduction says the life of Jesus is covered with a lot of information but the moral information that comes from Christ is not questionable. So everybody all over the world follow the same rules of the moral, just like treat the other person as you like someone treats you. Do the charity and live in a good way that your neighborhood can live together. So those kinds of things are not questionable. Everybody in the world wants to live in a world that everybody does the good things to another, that respect the life, respect people, respect the world. So this is the main knowledge, main teaching that Jesus gave to us. That's not questionable. So yeah, this is the introduction of the gospel. That there is information like that.
Yeah, it seems there's a variation on changing from language to language, but it's not much variation. It's if the English version was interpreted from the French edition, yeah.
But the interpretation can change according with the culture.
But if it's from the French edition to the Portuguese edition back to the English, then it may miss something, but I would imagine it's come from the French edition. So it's as close as possible.
Well, everything that comes from the Latin, like French, Portuguese, Italian, it could be the same. Quer dizer, I am saying the change could be not so big because they come from the same root. But England, Germany, and other languages from America, they come from another root. So they are different. But it's not the problem. The problem is that we are reading a lot, but we cannot really trust in everything.
But the difference is you get translation differences in the same language, like English and American, and Brazilian, Portuguese, and Portuguese. It's like sweet, or a bin and trash can. There's different words that explain the same thing. So it's one of the other and one of the, it's
yeah, that's why that's why we need to get together and study all the same time to trying to decrease this kind of different. Yeah, it's time to finish. The discussion was really good.
Nossa.
Eu só queria dizer uma coisa, que vou falar em português,
Sim.
porque eu vou falar muito, então. Vou falar muito mais rapidinho.
We're all hanging on your
No
word.
Evangelho segundo o Espiritismo, tanto quanto na Bíblia, também tem algumas coisas que são colocadas de forma a confundir um pouco também o leitor. Haja visto aquela parte que eu falei, Lindava, a respeito da passagem de Marcos, que inclusive no último estudo de quinta-feira, aquela página foi pulada. Vocês esqueceram daquela página e adiantaram um pouco, aquela página foi pulada. Mas, enfim, naquela página tinha essa passagem de Marcos que fala de Jesus de uma forma que hoje em dia a gente entende que não é assim, que Jesus jamais viria daquela forma, né? Sua glória com seus soldados e que se envergonharia de quem se envergonhar dele. Isso não é uma coisa que a gente possa dizer que é uma qualidade de Jesus, não é. Jesus nunca faria dessa forma. Então, no próprio Evangelho segundo o Espiritismo, também tem coisas que a gente precisa avaliar. Foi colocado ali porque foi tirado da Bíblia, com certeza. Então, Kardec colocou ali para poder explicar a passagem, só que quem lê aquele trecho de Marcos vai entender que Jesus daquela forma é vingativo, toma lá da cá, olho por olho, dente por dente, essas coisas. E não é. Na Bíblia tem isso, e no Evangelho também tem. Por quê? Eu penso, todos dois foram passados para pessoas, por mais que a gente veja que Kardec trabalhou demais com afinco e tal, com espíritos superiores ajudando, mesmo assim é ser humano. Então, ainda às vezes tem ali relato de alguns espíritos também, que se a gente ler bem nas entrelinhas, a gente vai ver que não é bem assim. Então, eles colocaram ainda ali o parecer deles, eu acho, é a minha opinião, assim. Então, acho que nos dois tem. Por quê? Porque foi passado para pessoas que ainda têm coisas para melhorar, né? Não é espírito puro igual Jesus. Se fosse um espírito, um livro escrito por Jesus, talvez não tivesse nenhum tipo de... Não sei se estou falando...
Yes, I think you it makes a lot of sense, and this is what I was talking about. That in the gospel according to Spiritism, there are a lot of messages there that when we read, we can perfectly understand immediately that those messages are not in agreement with the life that Jesus lived when he was in the world. And I think Jesus wrote his book without using a pen or a pencil. The book Jesus wrote it's a book that was in his actions. It was through his work, what he did when he was here. And I think that is what I think you've just said, Andre. These things, they won't. We cannot say that this doesn't make sense, because Jesus has taught us how to live in harmony, how to live with each other in society, and he asked us to love one another. He didn't ask us to say, oh, you Christians, you who follow me, you this, you that. He was talking to humanity, that we need to accept each other as he did accept everyone. And so I think that is very important that we also read these messages, that because then we have to learn to compare things, isn't it? We have to do what Kardec has helped us to do, which is to reason, to sort of to try to get what makes sense out of what doesn't make sense. So I think it's very important to not to have always like things making sense, because today we know that in Spiritism, this is what is done, isn't it? No one, but it's still there are a lot of people accepting messages without doing the right work to sort of to check the sources. But Kardec said, no, you need to check the source, because this is what it can happen. It can cause a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
So look, it is really interesting, because
Next meeting, Viviane. Time is open. Keep with you for the next meeting. I'm looking forward to the next meeting, just to know your questions.
Okay.
Let's pray. There's no time for you.
No, there's no time for the message. Okay. So let's thank God and our Master Jesus for the messages he brought us, for the explanations he brought to us about creation, the God that created us all equal, simple and ignorant, and has given us free will to make the choices we want to make, to choose the roads we want to follow, so that in the future we understand, as we grow, that we individually are in charge of our own happiness. that our happiness does not depend on anyone else, but on the choices we make, the choices we make, especially not just for ourselves, but those we make that embrace those around us, our families, our neighbors, not just the members of our blood family, but also looking at our family, universal family, which we are all children of God, no matter where we find ourselves, no matter in which level of evolution we find ourselves, or if we are still in the very low ranks of creation. Father, we thank you for allowing us to understand your perfect laws, your perfect love for all of us. And we ask you that your love may envelop us all, especially those of us who are struggling still to accept that we have someone above us who is in charge, who is guiding us, who is inspiring us, but who is giving also us at the same time the freedom to listen or not. And when we think about our own happiness, our own evolution, we can look back and understand your love as the parable of the prodigal son, the son that was allowed to go and live a life of freedom, to do whatever he wished to do. And then when he came back, he was received with a party, because he had understood that we cannot be happy without considering the laws that govern the universe. Thank you so much, Lord, for today, for the discussions we had, for what we have learned. And we place ourselves in your hands to receive your protection and guidance through the week that begins today until we meet again. So be it. Thank you.